Brooks, just how big is that? I mean, particularly with the defense coming up with that stop there late, just to kind of see it. How big a win is this?
No, it's huge. It feels really good, especially because we had the opportunity to put the game away early, and we didn't do what we needed to do. But being able to have hey, this is it. Game's on the line, and we go out there and do that. It feels really good for the team.
Anything specifically they did? They had some big chunk plays like we were talking about.
Right.
Was there anything they did to fool you, or was it just maybe a breakdown here and there? Or?
No, I don't think it was anything that they did that fooled us. I think that we just didn't have the best gap integrity when we needed it to. But all in all, we did it for the most part. But they would hit when we didn't, and they just capitalized on it.
I guess how frustrating was that first quarter, and then what flipped for you?
It was frustrating because we knew that they weren't beating us with anything crazy. They were beating us with stuff that we knew that we could stop. And so, Coach Powers brought us up, talked to us, told us what we needed to do, and I feel like for the rest of the game, we did it for the most part.
You went out at one point. Was there anything you were dealing with?
It was just a stinger.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
You played a lot. What? And obviously Mike Smith's out, but talk about just getting that much playing time and key role in a game like this.
Yeah, it feels great, but any one of our guys like JJ, Mello, Josh, Tyrone, Matt, any of us can go, and I have all the faith in everyone. And still praying for Mike. He just had surgery recently, and just wishing him the best.
Get Carl out there making plays, and obviously we've seen what Caden's done in the last few weeks. These freshmen that are not playing these two freshmen that are not playing I guess is that surprising to see how big they're coming up in big spots?
I don't think it's surprising if you could see the work that those guys put in. They just have another level of swag, and I love being out there on the same defense with them.
Once again, you guys get a win on the road. Is there something to this team playing in an away environment that kind of inspired you guys?
Yeah, I think we've always, we love the trash talk the fans give us. It kind of lights a fire, but we need to be able to light that fire at home games and, give our fans what they want at home.
Yeah. Blake, it didn't take a miracle this time, but just talk about the way you guys were able to sustain and just kind of hold things together there in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, it was obviously it was a tough game just to be able to score, and that was our emphasis all week, was just be able to get in the red zone and score points. And we still have a lot of work to do with that. So moving forward, so those drives that we kick field goals, we got to start. We got to finish those drives, but. I thought, all the receivers, they came and played well, and they had some explosive plays, and they were very electric. So, it was a good game for them, and it was a great game for our offensive line. And, we called it. We had a great plan going into the game, so it was good for that too.
You were playing behind a kind of a reshuffled offensive line. How did you feel like those guys held up, particularly with Colton Bryce there at center?
Yeah, Colton played amazing. His poise and confidence was awesome to see. It was his first time really playing in a game. So just to see his poise and his confidence was fun to watch. And the rest of the line, they played a great game too. And so it was really fun to watch those guys. And I felt clean most of the game. So.
Did you do anything you didn't expect them to do on defense?
No, not really. They kind of showed everything that we saw on film all week. They're more a one-high structured team defense, and we got more second and longs and third and longs than probably wanted to, but they showed the same thing we saw all week. They would go Tampa, and they gave us a lot of that and a little bit of two-man. So it's kind of the same thing we saw all week.
You're trying to make a few big long catches there. What was working well, and what's your connection with Blake been like? How's that been growing?
It's been growing good. We just made an emphasis, like me and him, really like the whole offense, but we made an emphasis to get those explosive plays. Like that was Coach Aranda. That's what he was preaching, make explosive plays. And me and Blake talked before the play, and we knew what was coming up. And if I got free, then he was gonna let the ball go. But we were just on the same page today, pretty much.
Ketron, that play, I guess it was to start the second quarter where you went up, maybe even over the guy. Can you talk about that catch and just how you were able to bring it down? Is
Just
that a long time ago? I know.
yeah, but nah, just keeping my eyes on the ball, like, cause I had saw it and it was like, you talking about the one that I had to.
It was a little bit short.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was just trying to keep my eyes on the ball because he told me he was throwing the ball, so I was like, okay, I got to just make the catch. So when it bumped, I just was like, just kept my eyes on it pretty much.
Blake, you must have a lot of confidence in him because you throw it to him quite a bit in key situations.
Yeah. No, so like before that play, I was like, look, bro, like right here, I'm probably coming to you, like no matter what. And so it really wasn't. I don't even think it was really the look we really wanted. That's why I kind of hesitated. It was late getting up, but I was like mid drop. I was like, all right, yeah. I told him I was going to him, going to him. So and I knew he was going to go up and make a play. So I mean, he's a special player. He's a playmaker, and you know that's a lot more of that is going to come in the future. So.
Like this game got tighter obviously at the end, but how good does it feel that you guys were able to finish with a win?
It means a lot. Like it's key to win games in this league, and we need to win. And so it's always awesome to win a football game, especially in this league where everybody's kind of similar in a way. So just to be able to come out with a win is huge for us, and we need to use that momentum going forward.
Is that like controlling the clock like y'all did there in the third quarter? Or is that kind of the Baylor team that y'all expect to be? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think in the third quarter we didn't really look at the clock too much, but yeah, in the fourth quarter when it got down to 4-minute mode, that's where we're gonna try to keep the ball in our hands and try to convert and things like that. And luckily we have a good defense, and they were able to go out and make a stop, 2 key stops. So they played great today, and so they backed us tremendously. So,
Blake, how big was that? You mentioned the fourth quarter drive. I think it was like 7 minutes, and you guys were able to run some clock. How big was that? Because obviously you win by 3, and that led to a field goal.
yeah. No, it's always big to run the football. That helps out the pass game too, and so it opens things up where they'll load the box a little bit more whenever we're able to run the ball, and so frees guys up like him and things on the outside. So it's key to be able to do that.
Anything else for these guys?
You guys want to give a shout out to Isaiah for kicking?
Oh yeah, no, yeah, he played unbelievable. He made some great kicks. So yeah, big shout out to him.
Yeah, big
so
shout out to him for sure.
Special teams.
Special teams showed up today.
Yeah, for sure.
Clutch.
So.
Okay, it's good to see you guys. I'm proud of the team. There's a lot of smiling faces and everything, and so I'm after wins, I'm happy for them. I'm happy for their families. I'm happy for our coaches. Happy for their families, and so wins are hard to come by. And the end of the game is all tight, and I imagine Baylor fans at the end of the game are thinking, here we go. And so to be able to have the defense go out after a bunch of hard possessions and be able to play their best and close it out, it's way cool. And I think it kind of shows who we are and who we've been the whole time. And so we've got to be able to find ways of letting that show a little bit easier. And then I thought offensively, going in the red zone and being able to score when we're in there and have the confidence to go ahead and do that, I think is really promising. And so a lot of things to work on. I think defending the run for sure, and just way frustrated about that. And so we've got to continue to work to be able to get that right. And then I think, offensively, we had a bunch of designed, throws were, RPOs where we called a fair amount of them. I don't know if we completed too many of them. So there's some frustration with that. I thought that linebackers for them, way aggressive, front, really good. Outside leverage on our receivers with, a lot of times a deep post safety. And so to be able to get run action where the O-line doesn't have to protect and they can step up, and then receivers with the leverage being outside can run an in-breaking route where there's nothing there but a guy that's way deep. A bunch of grass is something that we wanted to take advantage of, and we really were not able to. And so to be able to kind of hone in on that and be able to have some run after the catch is something that we desperately need on offense. I think those are 2 areas that we can work on. I think anytime you can get a win, be able to say you got to work on stuff, it's a good thing. So any questions you guys have?
y'all obviously went with a different offensive line, kind of shuffled that up. Talk about that and what you saw from those guys.
Appreciate that. Yeah. So I think it starts with Clark Barrington. So Clark is really Clark is a leader. Clark is way mature, very considerate person, and family dude and all that kind of off the field. On the field is like way nasty, and plays at the edge of edge. And I think that's been somewhat compromised and somewhat probably held back from being center. I think Clark, when he's in the center role, he was kind of the dad. And I think the guard allows him to be the big brother. And I think it's just way different. And there's some nastiness that came out today. It is way cool to see. I think we need it, And then that also allowed just Colton Price. So Colton really played well in his first start and everything. And Colton is a bit of a mudslinger too. And so he plays right on the edge of all of it. And those two guys together, they play tough. And, going into halftime, we didn't really attempt a bunch of runs purposefully. And, they were asking to run the ball. And so, it was coming from those two. And so to come out in the second half and run it some was cool to see. And so I think the other piece of that was Gavin Byers, and he was a captain for this game, and just his improvement. It's way cool to see dudes that have been on either side of it, the good and the bad, and then just the immaturity to the maturity and all of that. And way proud of Gavin, man. There's things throughout the last couple of weeks where it's like Gavin's doing something, and we're all like, "Is that Gavin?" I go, "Yeah, that's Gavin." And so he's just kind of recreated himself, and it's just really neat. I think that's like the coolest thing. And so for him to be a captain in this game, play well, continue that. I mean, all that maturity by him allows us to do this other stuff inside. And so, gives me hope for the rest of it with just the group and how we got it.
What changed for you in the second quarter? It seems like that's kind of when things picked up for you on both sides of the ball. What changed?
Appreciate that. Yeah, I think just settling down. I think that's something that we're still really working to get that right. I think a lot of that comes, and I fret to say this, just with some of the youth of the team, and starting early. That first drive was not particularly great, and coming after that, I thought there was some settling down. That hey, here's how they're playing us. Here's where it is. Here's the adjustments we got to make. And I think that's usually the natural course of stuff, right? If the plan is that they're over here, but they're really over here, we got to do this and that and everything. But within that, kind of as the unfolding of that, there's opportunities to make plays, even if the stuff ain't great, or if the stuff's not the way it's is drawn up, the way it's designed. And so we've got to be able to do that, and we can do that. And we're able to do that at the end of the game in this one, where it's similar, where there's pressure and all that. We got to do that in the beginning of the game. There's pressure and stuff, and I think a lot of it's just that. So, the makeup of this team, tells me that this is something that we're going to be able to conquer, and we're going to be able to take that next step. I think a couple of weeks ago we were talking about finishing and how we need to finish and all that, and we're able to do that, today. And so this is another step we have to take.
Isaiah Hankins was kind of Mr. Reliable today.
Mm-hmm.
Just how clutch was he for you guys?
Yeah, I appreciate that. Isaiah. So I just feel my relationship with him, and Isaiah is one of the guys I go to just for what's the team vibe like, where we at, what's he seeing. Doesn't really say a lot, but way perceptive, way integrated, and I think he's a great truth teller, and so appreciative of him. And then you talk about just the journey that he's been through of being a guy and then not being a guy, and so he's another one that has seen both sides of it. And I think there's just a maturity that comes with that, and I think that Isaiah for me would be a way strong example of, hey, I'm a really good football player, but that is not my identity, right? I'm a believer in Christ, right? I'm a good human being, right? I'm a great student. Football is what I do. It doesn't define who I am. And I think he lives that. He lives it. And for him to be able to come back from the adversity he had in football, a year ago and just be crushing it now, I don't want to jinx him and talk about it anymore, but I'm just way proud of him.
You mentioned Cincinnati's offensive line. Is there anyone in particular on that line that gave you trouble?
Yeah, I thought their interior. I thought that their nose, and then I thought their outside jack that they move around. We could, he was setting edges on us, and we had to be able to throw it enough to be able to try to soften that up. But I think, I know of the teams that we played. This is one of the most formidable fronts that we played, and so I just think that it's something that I'm glad that we had the bye to prep for, and I just think all the RPOs and things that we typically do not do is something that we need to do to be able to help our line. But I think it was also a good fit for Cincinnati just because of the effectiveness of them. I think, and then if you allow a pass set, then they choke you out. And so, way impressed with them and just their overall effort.
Dave, the defense gave up some chunk plays,
Mm-hmm.
but it seemed like they came up big when you needed them, like a couple of red zone stops, and then even there at the end when all they got to do is drive down and get in field goal range, they came up with a big stop there.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, I thought the heart and the fight and the belief, all those things, if you don't have belief in your teammates or you don't have belief in us, those things don't happen. But yeah, we have to play better though on defense. I just think the run game is just kind of a gut punch, and so I feel that pretty strong right now. And so that's something that we have to, for us to be able to have success the rest of the time that we got here this year, we have to be able to stop the run and do it at a better clip than any form or fashion today. And so that's a challenge for us. We got the guys to do it, both players and coaches and everything. But I think it goes, and I thought there was some positive growth in that regard prior to this game, and so we took a step back today.
There were times when you were fired up today, kind of similar to the UCF game. Do you and the team kind of relish going on the road and kind of having that whole stadium environment kind of against you, maybe that bonds you together? Do you relish that?
No. I relish trying to win, But I appreciate the question, and I think you do feel though. And I think this is what you're asking. You do feel just the us versus them. You feel that, But I think anytime that this comes up just in my mind is that we got to play better at home. We have to play better at home, and we got an opportunity here coming up and everything, and make that a big thing, bigger than how it's been. So we have to be able to play well there, and it can't just be when it's us in a cramped little locker room and everything, where we feel a certain way. And so, I thought that the team on the sideline and everything responded well to all the things we're saying, and they're locked in, man. They, as much as they want to win, and I think a lot of it is that they're looking for someone to kind of lead the way, and so try to be that.